We're here at the Suckler and Sheep Open Day on Tullamore Farm to discuss the findings of the KPMG report in terms of finding out the economic impact of the rural EU and rural policies on Irish farms.
Really important in terms of supporting the agriculture sector is the delivery of schemes by the department and by the government to strongly underpin family farm income. And I'd committed to work hard to deliver a new common agricultural policy that would be fair and support all sectors of farming and indeed all regions of the country as well.
What we did is we looked at a range of different data sources to calculate the economic impact of a number of issues facing farmers at the moment, whether it be the mitigation measures, reaching the 25% reduction in emissions for 2030, along with the derogation limit as well. We used the KPMG bespoke input-output model to calculate what a shock of change in output would do towards agriculture for the agriculture sector, along with the wider economy as well.
Farmers Journal decided that we'd commission KPMG to take a look under the bonnet, if you like, of the economic consequences of the changes that are being faced by Irish farmers. We're facing, I suppose, what you might say is once-in-generational changes in this decade. There's three things in particular that stand out. You have the reform of the Common Agriculture Policy that came into effect last year. Add to that then you have the possible loss of the nitrates derogation that we have enjoyed. That could be lost at the end of next year. And the third element of that is then we're now required to deliver a 25% reduction in emissions, greenhouse gas emissions from Irish farms by 2030. When you roll the effect of all of those things together, KPMG have found that the cost of that will be at a farm level or in the farm supply chain level about €1.4 billion per year. And at beyond the farm gate and the processing and the wider distribution sector up to 1.6 billion. So when you put the two together, you're looking at a 3 billion cost, if you like, to the rural economy from the changes that are faced by Irish farmers. Moving that on then, what does that mean as well as the money? In terms of the jobs, KPMG estimate that that'll put between 22 and 29,000 jobs on the line. So if we're looking at 29,000 job losses in the rural Irish economy by the end of the decade, that is something that is pretty serious. So why is all that going to happen? It's basically going to happen because the changes to the Common Agriculture Policy, a possible loss of the nitrates derogation and delivering the 25% reduction in emissions is simply going to affect the output on Irish farms. Nitrates alone will hit over half of Irish farmers, 9,500 Irish farmers. On the dairy side, it will affect the beef finishers that are supplying a quarter of all cattle to Irish factories. So we're going to achieve the loss of production, and that is what drives the economic loss.
I think what's really important about this report is it highlights the economic impacts of increased environmental regulation, the effects of that regulation on agriculture and of course the wider rural economy. And I think the impacts that are assessed in that report are quite sobering, just highlighting just the potential severity to which those regulations, particularly in relation to the climate action policy, may curtail livestock numbers, impacting on agricultural output, and then the consequential impacts of that for the multitude of rural businesses, both upstream and downstream of farming itself.
The Irish Farmers Journal commissioned KPMG to do this report. We'll have the detail in the Farmers Journal on Thursday and on farmersjournal.ie.